Let me call this public hearing to order. It is now April 15th, 2015. It is 6 p.m. Item, we'll be skipping the Pledge of Allegiance because we'll be taking up that matter during the regular school board meeting. Item C, which is the finance report on the 2014-2015 budget. Ms. Ruelas.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Trigo, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight we will be given a financial update of our expenses on our budget, basically for the general fund. What we will be going over is what was how we started, where we're at right now, and basically at the end of March 31st, and where we plan to end at the end of the year. We will start by looking at our statement of revenues, expenditures, and changes in fund balance. And this again is for our general fund for the month ending March 31st. I'd just like to speak to you a little bit of where we're at as far as more of the important information that we have up here. We have our revenues, which we have budgeted to date. Our revenues have not changed as far as budget is concerned. We started off budgeting an estimated $97.7 million, and we are currently very confident that our revenues will be at that level. We have not had to amend. We have our local, which includes mostly our property taxes at $13 million. State revenues is the revenue that we get from the state at $83 million, and the federal programs at $1 million. I think this is not working. Okay. And then, of course, we have all of our expenditures. We have currently these are how we break up our expenditures by function, and this is what we usually present to the board. So instruction being our biggest category, function 11, we budgeted $52.9 million. And then the rest of the functions, we have instructional media at 2.2, curriculum at 841, instructional leadership, school leadership, guidance and counseling, social work, health services, transportation, extracurricular, general administration, facilities at $14 million, security, data process, and community services, and then we have our debt service, $649,000, and our facilities and acquisition. So basically what we're looking at is this is our budget. We have adjusted this budget, and I will show you in a minute how we've adjusted it. Right now, our total expenditures are $102 million, and that's how much we presently feel like we will be spending till the end of the year. When we take our budgeted revenues less our expenditures, of course, we are showing a deficit, and that's something that we have been tracking from the beginning of the year. And basically right now, we're at $4.3 million over. And I'd like to just go to the beginning when our actual budget was actually passed to see where we were at and why we are where we are at right now. I will be going back and forth. 2014, 2015, our fund balance, we started off with revenues of 97 and our expenditures are at $101 million. This is the deficit that we started off with. We started off with $3.9 million in deficit for the year. Normally, we do have a balanced budget, and when we presented our budget at the beginning of the year, we let you all know that normally we do want to have a balanced budget. In this case, there was raises that were passed for our district that actually made us go over, and we were not able to compensate with the revenues that we were getting to cover the raises that were actually provided by the board and approved as a compensation plan in August. So if you look at this slide, what it is it shows you what the budget that was approved by the board and what it totaled. Okay, and we have it by teachers. Teachers got $4,000. Administrators got $6,000. Paraprofessional auxiliary got $2,500. We also had degreed instructional aides that were adjusted. We restored the UIL stipends, and then we had additional days for the band that were restored also. So basically, we have them by funds, and then we have what a total was of the board-approved budget for salaries, which was $6.2 million for general fund. Total for all the funds were $7.1 million. That's what was passed. That was approved by the board for the compensation plan. As a result of this, of course, we're not able to balance our budget with the revenues that we're going to get for the year. And if you look at our next slide, will show what the history is, of course, of our compensation plans that we've had in the past. The 2008-9, we had $1.3 million, and this is more or less in line what we usually give our employees. If you look at the teachers, $1,000, paraprofessionals, $400. So we started with 1.3, then we go against 1.3. So basically, our budget always more or less goes with the same type of adjustment. So the most recent being, of course, the 2013-14 was $1.9 million. So there was a big disparity in what our budgets normally look like as opposed to what was given the last year. So as a result, we started off, again, our budget over by the $3.9 million. So that was the start of our budget. Again, going back to where we have the summary. Aside from the 3.9, and if you looked at the beginning, I told you we're right now at 4.3 million that we are over in expenditures. We've had to have a couple of budget amendments that have gone to the board and been approved. We had a budget amendment that went to the board where we had to adjust our instructional teacher aid increase of 30,000, which came in after we actually passed the budget, so we had to increase our budget for payroll, $249,000. We also had another budget amendment, which is 2015-4, where we adjusted the salary schedule for the teachers, and that increased our payroll budget by $162,000. So basically what you're looking at is we have taken the 3.9 that we started off with, that we were over budget. We've added 411 because it's necessary. On the new hire schedule, what we did is we took our teachers up to $43,000 a year, which we had not increased our teacher pay for the last few years. So right now, our total amendments right now are at 4.3 million. So if we go back to our summary, if you look at this summary, that's where we're at currently, 4.3 million over budget. And just to let you know where we're at with that, we have our encumbered amounts to date. We have $3.9 million. Encumbered means that we have set them aside and they will be paid. We just have not gotten a purchase order going, and they have not been paid. So actual what we have right now, we have spent $66.1 million. So that gives us an available balance of $32 million. And if we just look at the percentages that were spent, which is what we kind of keep track, are we on track with our expenditures and how we're doing? For revenues, we're pretty much on target. Right now, we have 7 months into the year, so that means we've spent about 70% of our budget because we kind of go on a 10-month and not a 12 months. Then for expenditures, we're at 68%, and a good place to be would be between 60 and 70%. So we're right on target with what we've spent so far. So the only thing that we are concerned about, however, is that deficit fund balance that we have, and we have met and we are addressing it to see where we're at. Because at the rate that we are going, and if everything is spent the way we budgeted, our beginning fund balance for general fund was 16.1 million. And if we continue with the spending and we spend every single penny, which is unlikely, we will be at $11.8 million for the end of the year. Basically, what TA says is we have to have at least 2 months operating, if not 3 months operating funds. So we should have at fund balance for our district to be healthy should be at 11. 1 month is 8.5, 2 months is around 17 million. So right now we're close, but at the end of the year, of course, if we do spend and our budget is projected the way it is, we will be down to $11.8 million. So that is where we do not want to be. So we are trying to find ways as to how we can prevent our fund balance to go lower than when we started. I know that payroll is a recurring cost. Once we give a raise, it cost us $7 million for the year, and this goes every year. We cannot say, okay, it's only cost us $6 million this year. That $7 million is going to be for this year, for the next year, and until, forever and ever. So recurring cost is going to affect us for the next many, many years. So what we need to do now is we need to refocus. We need to find out, we are where we're at. We are below. We don't have a balanced budget. And what we need to do, of course, is try to protect our assets so that we don't fall between a point that'll harm the district. Okay, that's where we're at. And we have an additional adjustment that we have to take to the board, and that will be coming on tonight. We have Amendment 2015-6, and this is where we had to regroup and we had to look at what we have done with positions, and we hadn't addressed this to this point. And at this point, we need to look at where we're at with payroll. And only around the part of the year, we look at, have we increased? Have we had new positions? Have we had people leave? How are we with payroll? So payroll is $82 million. So when you look at our budget of $102 million, the majority almost is payroll. So we have to follow it very closely. We have to make sure that we have that money in there to pay for our payroll. The difference of about $20 million is really, again, it's what we use for supplies, travel, everything else. However, the large amount is in payroll. So we have looked, and we just have to make an adjustment for additional positions that have come into our district since we started. And this is not something that's unusual. Normally, we start off the budget, it's an estimate. And what we do is when we start the year and we need additional personnel, of course, we have to make adjustments, and it's never perfect. A budget is put out there as an estimate. It's not like something that is set in stone. We don't know what our needs are for the year, and a lot of times needs change. So basically, our budget is what we estimate, but definitely it does change throughout the year. So we have to make adjustments. We did have additional positions for paraprofessionals at $50,000. We had additional teachers that we had to hire at $78,000. Auxiliary, we had $204,000, and the reason for auxiliary, and that's we have a lot of auxiliary personnel. We had to do some replacements that had left, so that gave us an amount of $204,000. We had some administrative positions that were also added, $293,000. We had salary adjustments of $15,000. And then we also had a savings. You know, we take that into account also. We did close 5 positions, which totaled $173,000. So that did help us with the additional positions that we had to include in this year's budget. We also had an adjustment, which we are going to have to undertake under the general fund. We had an adjustment from the Title I program where we had a decrease in entitlement. Title I program is something we get from the federal government. We had it budget also. We had it budget compared to what we budgeted the prior year. Unfortunately,
Ms. Orlas,
yes, sir.
I'm sorry to interrupt. That decrease in Title I,
Yes.
what was that due to?
The decrease, the decrease is something the federal government, they give us an entitlement every year. And what we do is estimate on prior year. This year, their entitlement went down. This is something that comes down from the federal government to TA to the local government. At this point, we don't know exactly what the adjustment was for, but they basically tell us this is your allotment and, you know, this is what we're giving you. So at this point, they're actually still looking at it, and hopefully we will get maybe additional revenues because they're re-looking at it. Because what they do is they take a basic allotment, then they do any reallocations, and then if still things don't add up for the state, they look at it again, and hopefully if there's any leftover funds, we will get them in proportionate to the other state districts that we have, the districts that are within the state.
Is that correlated to the raises at all?
No, sir.
No.
No, the decrease. Now, however, we had a decrease. It was like $318,000 that we had a decrease in entitlement. However, also because Title I has a large number of staff, and when we added their raises, of course, we had already budgeted a balanced budget for Title I. Exactly when we came in and increased what was passed as for salary increases, we did go over that amount, $169,000. So that means that we budgeted based on our projections and what we had recommended for raises, but when we had a different raise that was approved, those figures went up, and at this time we cannot cover them with the amount of the entitlement that is going to come in from TA. So basically, what it is a combination of the salary increases and a combination of a decrease in entitlement that gave us $488,000 that we cannot absorb to Title I, so it has to be moved to our general fund, which is going to have to absorb that cost. So when we take all of that together, of course, we come up with $955,000 that we have to account for salaries at this point. But what we've done is we've looked at our budget, and what we've done is we've identified some areas that we normally budget for. We have items that we put on there for emergencies. We put items in there that we think maybe are going to be spent or going to be needed throughout the year. We are already in the 7th month, so we're kind of looking at budget again and saying, you know what, we've already at this point, we haven't used that money, so what we're going to do is we're getting as much money that we have that we project we're not going to use, and use it to go ahead and instead of increasing that amount that will go against fund balance, we're going to use it from our own budget and not have to increase anything that's going to affect our fund balance at this point. So we've been able to identify several areas where we can move money from to cover the $955,000 and not increase the amount that would be over in fund balance. And basically, I mean, just right off the bat, we have some contracted services that we are saving money on, and that would be a lease, and we have some, we went into a new trash collection contract. That's going to save us $109,000. We have fuel cost that, fortunately, the gas has gone down quite a bit. So that's going to have a savings for us. So for sure, we're already looking at $365,000 in savings by looking at areas that we know we are not going to have for this coming towards the end of the year. We are also looking at, again, aside from that, we're looking at all the areas that we're not going to have to spend. We've already met with the department, with the campuses. They're on board to help us. We're basically looking at as much as we can to save. We're already almost at the end of the year. By now, hopefully we won't have to spend it. The summer is very slow, and we'll be able to save some money.
Ms. Ruelas,
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt again. You want to go back on that slide, please?
Yes.
I have a total of 488 on that. To break it down on the contract services, garbage, and fuel, I have the same number for fuel, 256.
Uh-huh.
For the chance to be relocation, we are no longer paying rent
Right.
on that. That is $90,000 per year on savings. The garbage is $51,000 per year on savings. And we've also adjusted or monitored overtime. That saved $91,000. The projected savings on overtime for next year is going to add up to $180,000. And that gives us a total of $488,877.
On the overtime?
A total of savings.
You're saying
That
including.
including
Right.
all the things that we've been working on to save the school money.
Is that accurate?
Are those accurate numbers?
I do not have a savings that we've calculated on overtime. We have garbage, we have the lease payment, and
I
we
have the numbers
fuel
here
cost.
if you like, but these are accurate.
Okay, on overtime, we had already projected that we're more or less going to be on target on overtime. And that would be overall. I know that we are saving money on some areas. For example, maintenance. I know right off the bat that we have gone down on maintenance. But when we look at our overtime overall, with all the departments as to how we're going to be at the end of the year, we're pretty much on target. We are going to save definitely on maintenance because I know there's a lot of adjustments that have been made. But when we look at the overall, all the departments, we have had some that are over, some that are under. However, at the end, we are looking at where we're at.
And Ms. Ruelas, if I may, when you talk about the raises that were detrimental to our budget as passed or proposed by the board, you're talking about the previous board, correct?
Correct.
And at that time, did you sound an alarm about how precarious our financial situation was?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And they still went ahead and gave a raise above what you had suggested?
We had recommended as administration a balanced budget, a raise that would be in the range of what we normally give, and that would have given us a balanced budget. It was the wishes of the board to give they passed that compensation plan.
Knowing full well that it would be detrimental to the school's fund balance and to the budget, and that you would be passing an unbalanced budget. They decided to go ahead and do that anyway?
Yes, ma'am.
Even though you had warned them?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. So again, we are being conservative, and hopefully maybe at the end, towards we get the end of the year, we will be able to see more savings. We are very conservative in our figures, but we'd rather, we don't know exactly what's going to happen within the next few months that we have. But we're very optimistic, again, that we will be able to save some money. We have been meeting, and even though we are where we're at, we'd like to move forward, and we've met already with administration, we've met with the board. We're finding areas to see where we can go ahead and help so that we can be aligned. This happened to us about 4 years ago where the state cut us $4 million, and we were able to recover from it. So I'm very optimistic that we can go ahead and have some measures that are going to help our school district. And I think everybody's on board. I know our board, our superintendent, our principals, so we're going to meet with departments, but there are ways to go ahead and put us back online, and that's what we want to work on. We are looking very closely at staffing. In a little while, Mr. Salinas will talk about the early notification incentive plan, where what it does, it serves to some of our personnel that's ready to move on, is given an incentive, and what it does for us is it does two things. It saves it saves us money, and it also reduces our staffing. So we're looking at that program to help us align our budget. We're also reviewing all the staffing patterns that are based on our enrollment. Our enrollment, ladies and gentlemen, is at a standstill. Enrollment is what drives our money from TA. That's where our money comes in. We have to have our kids come to school. Unfortunately, right now, we are at a standstill for the last couple of years. So the more kids that come to school, the more money that the school district gets. So we are very active in trying to see how we can get our children back in here to come and participate in schools. So,
Ms. Ruelas, if I may, do
Yes.
you have an estimate as to how much the district loses with truancy issues so that we can encourage parents to send their kids to school?
well, basically right now we're at about 90%, and that's just our figure of kids that come to school. In other words, we need to be at least at 94, 95%, if not higher. For every 1%, we're looking at about $700,000, maybe $1 million. So if we go up 2-3%, we're already there as far as helping our budget recover. So I know we've had several meetings where we're looking at truancy. We're looking at how can we get our kids to come to school. All that will help us, and I think next year there's going to be a big push for that, and that's going to help us tremendously. I mean, if we do that, that's what's going to bring our revenues up, because that's what we need to do. It'll help our students, of course, and it'll help the district overall. So again, staffing pattern means that we need to see what our student to teacher ratios are. We need to be very lean on the number of the staff that we have. We have to be productive. We have to have the staff only that the district needs. We cannot afford to have any extras at this point.
Can I interrupt
yes.
again now?
Yes, sir.
What does TA recommend?
Okay, and I have the numbers. Okay, currently we have, this is the last first indicators, the report that we had. We have 10,796 kids. We had a total staff at that point of 1,910. Okay, that is for every student we have 5.65 staff members, okay? That is a very low number. TA, they say that the lowest should be at 6.8 or the high should be at 14 staff members per child. Okay, so if we want to be at the low end, at least, because we want to at least, be there, if we're to be at 6.8 students, teachers per, or staff per student, we would have to lower our staff by 322 currently. That's the number that I'm looking at. So basically what TA is saying is that, yes, they have a formula. We are overstaffed. And of course, if we lower these numbers of our staff, and of course nobody likes to see, anybody letting go of staff. However, there are ways, we have this incentive program that maybe will reduce our numbers. We have attrition when people, leave their jobs. I mean, I don't want to scare anybody that say that, but we are looking out for the interest of the district. And at this point, you want to become healthier as far as our staffing. Little by little, we will have to reduce our staff at this point. Again, it'll help us financially. It'll help us with our ratings from first. We normally don't get any points for this particular one because we are very high in staff.
And just to clarify, Ms. Ruelas, that would be due to the prior board's budget actions, correct? The deficit that was created.
It's not. This has been a recurring problem, but it has been, for the last, as long as I've been here, we have been overstaffed. Not at this point, but the Rio Grande School District, has been high in numbers as far as staff is concerned. So it has been an accumulation.
In other words, the raises might cause the attrition.
Well, the attrition is going to be, it's only for, attrition is like when an employee leaves, and of course that position is closed. So that does not, put anybody out of a job. It's just helping the district. You know what, do we actually need this position? You know what, we have somebody from another campus that's over, let's put them over here. And that's when we start, looking at relief. It might not be done this 1 year, but it maybe take 3, 4, 5 years to get through the point that we want. But it needs to start. In other
Ms.
words,
Ruelas, and again, so overstaffing, the district has seen that in years past.
Yes.
But an unbalanced budget being passed, had they ever seen that?
never.
Okay.
We have never
So
had
there's
that.
the difference there.
Yes.
Overstaffing,
We've
it happens,
always-
but an
yes.
unbalanced budget had not happened.
Right.
Until the outgoing board in May.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify that.
And
Thank you.
also, we have always had a very healthy fund balance. So the fact that we had all these employees was not so much a factor because we had finances. So
Ms.
now we're done.
Ms. Reyes, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we kept talking about the general fund balance, and there's a common misconception out there that it's like an operating account or
Yes.
operating expenses. That's not what it is. A general fund is kind of like an emergency fund.
No, the general fund altogether is all our operations. Yes, it includes anything and everything that has to do with the district. That is the general fund. The general fund is given to us from the state, and they say pretty much, this is the money you're going to get. You can spend it however you want to, according to policies and procedures.
But try to reserve 2 to 3
Yes,
months.
Yes,
Right.
yes. And we always try to do that because emergencies occur. We do not get funding from TA 2 months out of the year. So in August, we don't get a payment. In April, we don't have a payment. So that means that we have to go 2 months without any help from TA. So that's where our reserves come in, to have enough to at least go 2 months without having to, run out of money and things like that. So,
And that was an issue you had when it came to the raises.
yes.
And to be clear, because you started off this meeting saying, let's tell the public why we are what we are.
Right.
And let's do that. Let's call a spade a spade.
Right.
Okay? They increased salary 3.5 times what it was the previous year.
Right.
Correct? And that came from where? Where did that money come from? The
From
reserve.
the general fund. Yes,
And
from our fund balance. That's our fund balance.
Right, and that put us at 11 million right now.
Right.
Okay. Because of the raises that
Well,
we
it
give.
put it at 16 million.
Yeah, but-
And if it continues and we do spend, it'll go down
And
to
it-
11 million.
And it's a recurring cost, so it's not
It's a
something we can
recurring
do away
cost.
with.
Right.
So what's going to happen eventually is what? We're going to have to do attrition. Am I mistaken there?
Well, we will, because we do have a projected, if we can save what we want to save, the 2 million or 2.5 to 3 million that we can save, we will be, instead of that 11 million, we'll be more like 14 million.
That's projected. That's
Yes,
not guaranteed.
projected, right, not guaranteed.
It's not-
What attrition is, of course, is, we will save money by saving on salaries.
And,
So-
and I say this because, when we run, you go shake people's hands and you talk to families, and you're not, these are families' lives we're dealing with.
Exactly.
So next thing you know, you have a gossip columnist out there, anonymous, and they will say that this current school board wants to lay off people. That's not what it's about.
Right.
All right.
And we
And
do
I'm
not-
trying to say as to why we have this budget. This budget was inherited, was it not?
Yes. And basically, that's why we don't want to go, we want to go through attrition and not go through layoffs. In other words, attrition, somebody leaves, we close the position. Layoff would be, okay, you have a job, but we can no longer fund you, so, you're fired or you're dismissed or whatever. So that's why we don't want to get there. If we can start putting money back into our fund balance by saving what we want to save for this year, we will not have to go through that route. However, we still need to reduce our staffing, only so it can help us to build our fund balance so we can have to be able to move around and say, you know what, I want to fix the roof over here. I want to do other things besides just being strapped to payroll and necessary items.
And I'm not trying to scare anybody, but
No.
the problem is sometimes we're strict or we're tight, the word is, or whatever you
Right.
want to call it. That it's because if we had a nice general fund,
Right.
then we would be able to spend a lot more. But when you inherit, when you're 4 million in the red,
Yes.
then you're going to have to tighten up a little bit. It's
Yes.
just common sense, and it's something that we as a board have to deal with.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are in that situation. However, we're trying to do whatever we can to go ahead and help out. And basically, yes, that has put us in a large predicament,
Ms.
you know,
Reynolds,
financially. Yes.
Was the previous fund balance also depleted with the construction of the new high school? I would imagine it had some effect on that.
That was a couple of years ago. Okay. Okay, the history of our fund balance. At the end of 2010, we had $26.8 million. Then we went the next year up to $29.1 million. Okay, then the next year we're still at $29 million. In 2013, we went down to $24 million, which was a transfer out, yes, to go ahead and finish our high school. When we started the building of the high school, we knew at the beginning that we were going to have to go ahead and transfer up to $20 million to finish the project. So that depleted it from 24, and then last year we had a decrease of $8 million, which put it down to $16 million. And that's with a combination of what we paid to finish the school and, of course, the raises that we gave, that's why we are where we at, as far as fund balance is concerned.
Thank you. I'm wondering, Mr. Trigo, is there any way that we could publish this information either online or somewhere so that the public can be aware of what's been happening for the past couple of years?
We certainly can take a look at that. I'll work closely with you, Ms. Ruelas, and we can get a committee of employees to take a look at that and take a look at the possible options that we have to balance the budget. We have been working closely with principals and other administrators and with Ms. Ruelas and
with Ms. Garza and Dr. Salinas.
different people, different departments, and we've been looking closely at staffing patterns, and of course attrition is one where we are going to look at closely, where we take a look at the previous staffing patterns and see as if by attrition there is a possibility of restructuring from within. Restructuring, I think that's the key, where you eliminate a position and don't have to fund it for the following year, but at the same time, you do not want to impact instruction or impact anything negatively. So taking a good look at that and studying it thoroughly with our administrators, then we can make a recommendation that is in the best interest of the district and at the same time not hurting but helping us.
Not burdening the
not burdening it.
solutions. I know that Vilma Garza and Dr. Salinas are working on
Very closely on that, and we appreciate your support with that. And
solution.
it's working as a team. I think all of us working as a team, we do see that we do have an issue with regards to our funding and our balance. But working together, I'm optimistic that we can certainly work together as a team, as the RGCCISD family, as I've mentioned, and we move forward and do the best that we can to get back on a balanced budget.
I'm very optimistic that it can be done. We've done it in the past, and I think we can, do it again. And I think everybody's on board.
Right.
We have to tighten our belts.
Exactly.
As they say.
Because we have options. That's a good thing. We have options right now. And
A
now
lot of options.
just to go and look at it very carefully and thoroughly and intelligently, really taking a look at it. And we've started. We've had some meetings. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had a very productive meeting with regards to taking some action with regards to making some recommendations to you as a board, and then we'll pose some options, provide you with some options, and then you see, you know what, at this time we feel that is something that could benefit our students in our district, and we move forward from there.
Any questions?
Sure.
No, Mr. Trigo, I know that the legislators are in session and we won't know until summer, but there is a possibility of the restoration of funds, right, that she pointed out.
Yes, Ms. Ruelas has
Yes,
mentioned that,
yes.
correct.
And we're tracking
And we're
it very
looking-
closely. Yes.
We're tracking that closely. That could, of course, be a benefit to us.
And the other thing, I know we don't know right now the numbers, but the wind farms, there is going to be some monies, and when does that take effect?
Okay, the wind farms will help us not this coming year, but the next. So we're looking at about $3.2 million that's going to be coming in from taxes for the wind farm.
Is that a one-time deal?
Yes.
Or something that's?
Yes, that is a one-time thing. Then from there on out, we will be receiving around $1.2 million every year after that. And the reason is that, yes, it's a very good thing. We are very happy. That's going to help us not this coming year, but the next. And again, if we can restore where we want to be, that will be extra money that we can use for, other things that we might want to do around the district. So I know that it's coming, but I still want to save a lot of money between now and then.
Ms. Ruelas,
Yes.
we know that no one likes this situation,
Yes, sir.
but what is the estimated time of recovery from our deficit?
Being conservative, I think it'll take 5 years to get back to where we need to be.
5 years.
Yes. Depending, of course, on what TA does, how much our funding will be. But being very conservative, and I like to be very conservative, it would take 5 years to get us up to at least maybe $19 million in fund balance if we continue, the way we are right now. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ruelas.
Item D, early notification resignation incentive.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Mr. Trigo, community members in attendance. One of the initiatives Ms. Ruelas spoke about was the ENRI, or the Early Notification Resignation Incentive. This incentive, one of the prerequisites to begin this is to have a public hearing, and that's why we're here tonight. It will be presented to you tonight. I believe it's item 18, if I'm not mistaken. The language on the item is a little different than what it is on the public hearing, and the reason being we went back and forth with legal, and we've addressed this. So we will name it the Early Notification Resignation Incentive. And just to give you a little detail on this, we're looking at employees that have been with the district for 15 years, 5 consecutive Blue Grand City ISD as of the end of this year. These individuals will, if approved tonight, will receive a letter, and I put a sample in front of you, a letter stating the specifics, the 30% of the base salary, and we explain what a base salary is and give them an exact number, the 30%, and obviously the program is intended to, the district to try to recapture 70% of anyone taking this program. So that's what it's designed to do. These individuals that do sign up for the NRI will give up the right to be employed with the district for 5 years. That's one of the stipulations. And the one that we will be explaining as a staff as they come into our office will be that the district reserves the right to evaluate the data, even as far as into June, to make sure it's beneficial to the district financially.
Correct.
And it'll be number 10 on the NRI statement, and our office will make sure that these individuals do know that. So it'll be 15 years with the district, 5 consecutive Rio Grande City ISD, 30% of base salary. We do have questions of individuals that they're up for retirement. The district is not, pushing this or asking them to retire. Some people voluntary, exactly.
Voluntary, correct.
We also provide that information. You have DEC local, if I'm not mistaken. It points out that these individuals do have up to 100 days of state and local leave. Professionals will be 125, and paraprofessional auxiliary will be 75 at 100 days. So
That's our
that
current
information,
policy.
yes, that's our current policy. Is local.
So you all will review the numbers to see whether or not it's beneficial to us.
Yes, ma'am. That'll be in our timeline.
Right.
We have sent timeline to legal also. There's a 45-day period and a 7-day period that we're real specific with. That'll be addressed to the staff, any staff that's interested in signing up as they come in, and we'll show them that timeline also.
Any questions? At this time, I want to thank the business office, what you all see here today, and the human resource office, Dr. Salinas and Ms. Ruelas.
Right.
What you all see today is there was a lot of time and effort and work that was put into it.
Exactly.
Also, the finance committee, Dr. Cantu, and the personnel committee, Eddie and Judy. It took up a lot of our time to present to the community, and I want to thank you all for your time.
Yes, I do want to thank Ms. Ruelas and her staff. They've been working very hard the last few months, providing a lot of information, so we appreciate your help. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you.
Item E, public comments.
Anybody sign up?
Public hearing, item F, public hearing is now adjourned. I will now proceed to the regularly scheduled board meeting, and is now past 6:30. I will call this meeting to order, and that is April 15th, 2015. The determination, we have a quorum. Mr. Dicky Gonzalez.
Present.
Dr. Norberto Cantu.
Present.
Mr. Eduardo Ramirez.
Present.
Ms. Judy Solis.
Present.
Mr. Ruben Klein. And myself, Daniel Garcia, I'm present as well. We do have a quorum. The Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Ramirez.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes, Section 3. Do I have a approval of minutes of the regular board meeting for March 24, 2015? Do I have a motion? We have a motion by Mr. Klein. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Section 4, public forum. No one. Item number 1. Consider and take possible action on appointment of individual to fill vacancy created by resignation of member of Board of Trustees. Do I have-
Go ahead.
I was going to ask for, do you have any nominations or motions?
Yes, at this time, I'd like to make a motion. I would like to nominate as the individual appointed to fill the vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Bobby Gutierrez be a man who really needs no introduction. He is a La Gruya native. He is an educator with over 40 years of experience in education, both as a teacher and administrator. He's a man of God, being an ordained deacon. And I nominate at this time Mr. Benito Sainz.
I'll second that.
We have a nomination. We have a second by Mr. Dicky Gonzalez. I would also add, I believe he is a Rio Grande City graduate.
That's correct.
And all in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mr. Sainz. Mr. Sainz, before you, I just wanted to ask you, would you accept the appointment? Yes. I believe you wanted to share some words with the community.
I'm sorry?
You wanted, if you wanted to share some words with the community, go ahead, sir.
I would like to express my sincere thanks to the members of the school board for allowing me to serve the communities within the Rio Grande City Consolidated School District. All my life, I've tried to serve in church and communities and in the schools. I want to thank my family, my wife. Please stand. Yoya. Two of my children are here. Gilbert, you saw him hugging me.
All right.
And my daughter Cindy. And I also have a couple of grandchildren here. Natalie. Did Lauren come? Lauren, she here? Oh, there she is in the back. Okay. And I again, also my sister who works here in the district, Teresa Gonzalez. She here? Okay. And her kids are here also, my sobrinos, Eddie and Arnold, and also Missy, I think, and their kids. Huh? I also have relatives from my wife's side, and there are too many, I'm sorry, but I appreciate you being here. It really gives me a lot of support personally, and it calms my nerves also a little bit, okay? I grew up in La Gruya. I was born in La Gruya way back then when the doctors would go to the homes and make the deliveries there rather than the other way around. So I was born in La Gruya. I grew up. I went to middle school in La Gruya, at elementary school and middle school, and I graduated from Rio Grande City High School in 1962, a long time ago. And then from there I went to University of Texas at Austin and graduated and came back to teach here in Rio Grande City.
Yeah. We have a few Longhorns in the house.
I taught here at Rio Grande City High School for 14 years. I was the head of the math department, and also I was a student council sponsor, UIL sponsor, class head sponsor, and for 14 years. At that time, I wanted to become an administrator, and at that moment, I had 3 cousins on the school board, so the chances of going up here were not possible at that time. The nepotism laws are different now, but at that time, they were pretty strict. And so I had a chance to, there was an opening at the La Jolla ISD, and it so happened that they had just gotten a brand new superintendent, Dr. Miguel de los Santos, who happens to be here.
Wow.
And so he recommended me, and I got hired as an elementary principal at that time. I've been with La Jolla now for 36 years. And so you do the math, 14 here and 36 over there.
I'm an Aggie. My math was way off. I'm sorry. I said 40, but that was
By
never my
10
forte.
years.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Anyway, I wanted to, well, because that's why I went to La Jolla, because I had an opportunity, and the district has actually been very good to me as far as the positions that I've held. I've been elementary principal at La Jolla district. I've been high school principal for 4 years. I've been central office administrator, director of secondary education in La Jolla, and now I'm an assistant principal at the high school in charge of testing. And it is something else. Testing. Oh, you who are doing testing, I know exactly what you're going through. We just finished Telpas, and we're about to, we're having benchmarks next week. It was this week, but I wasn't ready for it. And then we have the end of course coming up at the first week in May, plus all the AP tests. That's the first 2 weeks in May. Okay, so much for that. I just want to thank everyone who has trusted in me and thought I can serve in this capacity. And I want to say this, although testing plays an important role in education of our children, me as an educator, I wish there was a proper balance so that teachers could concentrate more on teaching rather than testing. I believe in stimulating the students in all aspects of education, from physical activities to social interactions to every part of the meeting, creative abilities. I am a strong supporter of academic excellence. I believe that we have to get our students hooked on reading as early as possible in the elementary grades. I also strongly support sports, fine arts, and classroom activities that generate excitement in students. We have a progressive school vision which says we are an educational organization that exemplifies achievement, credibility, and commitment in preparing all students to meet the academic, creative, and social challenges and responsibilities of our society. And as a member of the school board, I'm hoping that I can meet that challenge and hold everybody else accountable to those words. Those are very, very good words, but they're only words if we don't put them into action. I look forward to working with all my fellow board members, our superintendent, Mr. Joel Trigo, whom I have known for several years, the central office staff, the principals, the teachers, who are the real heroes, because they're the ones who have the front line working with students. You have given You have given me an opportunity to serve, and I pray to the Lord for guidance and assistance in accomplishing it. May the merciful Lord have mercy and bless all of us. Thank you.
Amen.
Is Judge Sutton?
Item number 2, administration of oath of office of newly appointed board member, Mr. Benito Sain.
Mr. Board President, we need to do an officer's statement before we take the oath.
Okay.
It's already been emailed. We're getting a printout so we can do it quickly. Then miss the
Okay.
deal.
Should we move it towards the end then? Until he
No,
signs it?
it's just a statement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you email it?
Yes.
Just print it up.
I just want to add that I see a lot of blue in the room. It looks real nice.
There you go.
You had that planned?
He's been saving that all night.
We just have a technical, we just want to make sure that we hit all the requirements so that you are officially appointed. We don't have to do it again.
There's two. There's an officer statement and the oath of the office. Officer statement first and the oath of the office.
Okay.
And she's printed it out real quick.
So we're getting the printout, sir.
And I would like to ask Judge Salvador Zarate to administer the oath. He's also my ahijado. I was his padrino when he made the first communion. So. While we wait for whatever needs to take place, I do want to mention that we have a friend of mine and I, he's standing right there, Jimmy, and I have two Facebook pages that are dedicated, one to the Gruya High School Gators and another one. And the other one is dedicated to the city of La Gruya and all the surrounding communities that encompassed by the school district, by Rio Grande City School District, and actually the La Gruya High School zone. That's all the communities. I hope you have an opportunity to visit those two sites because we do promote all positive things about what's happening both at Gruya High School and in the communities surrounding Gruya High School. Hopefully we can expand now, but we're going to be asking you all to look at those sites because they present students and some of them are standing out there that have been presented before. Benito Sainz Jr.
Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
and affirm
that
I have not direct or indirect paid,
that I have not directly or indirectly paid, offered,
promised to pay,
contributed,
or promised to contribute
or promised to contribute
any money
any money
or thing of value,
or thing of value,
or promise any public office
or promise any public office
or employment
or employment
for the giving
for the giving
or withholding
of
this vote
as the election
at which I was elected or rewarded
at which I was elected or rewarded
to serve,
secure
my appointment and confirmation,
whichever the case
may be,
so help me God.
Keep it up. This is the oath of office. I, Benito
Sainz Jr.
do solemnly swear
and affirm
that
I will faithfully
execute the duties
duties
of the office
as
school trustee of Rio Grande City,
as school trustee of the Rio Grande City Consolidated Independent School District
of the state of Texas,
and will
to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, defend the Constitution and the law of the United States and of this state, so help me God.
Yes, now somebody's going to sit next to me. Yay. I'd also like to say that as Mr. Sines will be taking Mr. Gutierrez's position, I'm happy to let the public know and the teachers that he will be sitting on the Curriculum and Instruction Committee. I currently, yeah, that's right. I wanted to say that currently I serve as chairperson, but I think it's very clear that I should not have that capacity and that, in fact, I will be going ahead and having Mr. Sines sit as the committee chair, and I'm sure we'll all learn a lot from him. Thank you.
Your agenda's right there, Mr. Sines.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here's on paper, and here's on computer.
Item number 3, student recognition, Gruya Middle School track team, boys and girls. Gruya High School UIL one-act play and soccer team, boys and girls.
Please, the Gruya Middle School track team, boys and girls, please, with their principal also, Mrs. Ibanez.
Good evening, Mr. President, Mr. Garcia, members of the board, Mr. Trigo, Superintendent of Schools, colleagues, community members, parents from La Gruya. Good evening, everyone. We are here to recognize our mighty Crane students. I ask them to come forward.
Wow. We got
I want to mention that our 7th and 8th grade boys and girls are district track champions.
Good job.
I want to recognize not only the students, I want to thank their coaches for their hard work, their dedication, their endless hours. To our students, our female track coaches, Coach Janie Gomez, Coach Yadira Lopez, Coach Nelia Osuna, and Coach Jessica Sines. Our male track coaches, Coach Greg Lara, Coach Charlie Carrera, Coach Ray Flores, and Coach Lee Vela. He's unable to be here. He had a death in his family, so I want us to remember him as well. He does an exceptional job, as well as all our coaches. So I believe they deserve an extra round of applause for all of their hard work. Thank you, coaches, for all that you do. Boys and girls, we are all very proud of you. You represented your educational community in an exceptional way and in a phenomenal fashion, and I am extremely proud of you, as well as our board members, all our central office administration, all of our colleagues, our neighboring schools, and I want to recognize your parents. Will the parents please stand? Gruya Middle School parents. Their endless support of the coaches, of the school, and of the kids. Thank you, parents, for entrusting them in our care. Thank you so very much. Boys and girls, fantabulous job. Very proud of you. Go Cranes.
Thank you, Ms. Ibanez.
Girls, we're going to do pictures, but separate because she's saying it's a little too large, the group, so we're going to set up over there. Thank you. Thank you, board members.
The board on the top, perhaps? Yeah, let's go take some pictures.
While we are taking the picture, it is noteworthy to mention that both 7th and 8th grade girls have kept this title for 7 consecutive years. So we challenge the incoming groups to do as well, right, girls?
our Ms. Lupita Garza. I believe our Gruya boys and girls soccer teams, they don't need no introduction after their amazing run in the playoffs.
That is right.
First of all, just a few minutes. First of all, good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, Mr. Superintendent, Mr. Joel Trigo Jr., and community members, and of course, parents as well. We do have quite a bit of accomplishments at Gruya High. Now, we'll be bringing on, I know that we're all waiting for our soccer team to come forward, but I do have several accomplishments that I do want to say tonight. First of all, before you stands a very proud Gruya High School principal, representing her administrative team, the staff members, students, and our parents from Gruya High, and the community members as well. We have, again, many accomplishments. We're going to begin with some students that have made it to the Rio Grande Valley All-Stars basketball team. Must I say, community members and board members, it is not very easy to make it to that All-Stars team. It takes a lot of dedication and a lot of hard work. And I want to congratulate Mr. Eric Gonzalez. One of his team members made it to that RGV Valley All-Star team. And that would be student Aaron or Aaron Gutierrez. Please come forward. And I want to also continue with that we not only had one of our boys make it to the basketball team, but we also had one of our girls basketball team make it to the Rio Grande Valley All-Stars. And that was under the direction of Coach Sandor Lopez. She is not present with us tonight, but that would be Giselle Chapa. She is actually in Donna practicing for her game tonight. So a big congratulations to her as well. Oh, she is here. She did make it tonight. Thank you. Can I go ahead and continue and get everybody forward, or do you want everybody separate? We'll go ahead and continue. And not present with us today, and I'm not going to say unfortunately, because our one-act play is not here tonight. They are district champs. They have advanced to area. They are on the road right now, which they'll be competing tomorrow morning. So we wish them the best of luck, and we want to make it all the way to state. So congratulations to our one-act play under the direction of Johnny Joe Triay. And now we will begin with the girls' soccer team. The girls' soccer team have showed a lot of effort and a lot of dedication as well. This year, under the direction of Mr. Antonio Olivares, the head coach, and we have the assistant coaches, Karina Barrios and Jennifer Villarreal, our soccer girls are by district champs. Way to go, Gators! I'm going to go ahead and continue now. Congratulations again, ladies and coaches. Let's go ahead and continue with our boys' soccer team. We began with our boys, like they like to call themselves, a team of brothers. And I want to believe this is what got them this far. A very united group of kids, including our young ladies at Gruya High. We have very talented students. Not only are they very talented, but they are they have a very good heart, okay, and that shows. So again, thank you. Boys, they were 2015 co-district champions, 2015 by-district champions, 2015 area champions, 2015 regional quarter champions, and we were 2014 regional semifinal finalists. So those of you that were out there at that game, it was a very tough game. I would like everybody in the community to know, board members, they fought a very tough game that night. We are very proud of you, Gators. They, and we also have with us tonight the girls' athletic coordinator, Mesita Jimenez. The boys' athletic coordinator could not make it tonight. That would be Mr. Abel Gonzalez. But we would like to again extend, a big thank you to all our board members, to the community members, to everyone who supported us out there, and of course, the parents. Los padres que deben de estar bien orgullosos de sus hijos hoy esta noche. Padres de Grulla, por favor, tomen pie. Congratulations. And I will just address all of you all once more. It is indeed my honor to be here tonight in front of all of you. I thank you. I firsthand saw your hard work, your dedication, the hours that you put into this. So again, I want to congratulate you. It takes a unique person to do that, and you have done that. So again, congratulations. Continue to move forward, continue to strive, and continue to exceed. Go Mighty Gators! I will be done, I promise. Before we take pictures, I also want to say congratulations to the Grulla Middle School Cranes. I am very excited to one day have that talent, to continue that talent at Grulla High. Again, congratulations. Good evening.
wow.
Members of the board, I know that we need to move on, but we do have our team captain who would like to say a couple of words for the soccer boys. Thank you. And I'm sorry, I was just told that I didn't name the coaches for the boys soccer team. Head coach Angel Ortiz, assistants J.D. Ibarra and Salinas. Thank you very much. And now, the team captain that held the team together throughout all their victories would like to say a couple of words.
All right.
First of all, I want to thank the athletic department, our community, our fans, the coaches, everybody that's helped us come here. We've never had something like this before, and I just want to appreciate it. I speak for most of my team. This is something new for us, something we're never going to forget. And a group of brothers can't be defeated, and we proved it. We're still not beat. We're still going to keep going to the end. Thank you, everybody.
There you go.
Good job.
Thank
Good
you.
job.
Go Gators.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I'm sorry, sir. What was your name? What's your name, sir?
Miguel Flores.
Oh, thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. That was awesome. And we know how hard it is to speak on the mic. That was beautiful. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Recio and Ms. Garza. Item number 4, consider and take possible action on travel requests from Food Services Department, Gruya Middle School, Ringo Middle School, Veterans Middle School, Gruya High School, and Rio High School. Is there any question? Do we have a...
I move we approve those items.
I seconded.
We have a second by Ms. Judy Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item number 5, consider and take possible action on request from basketball team Rio of Rio Grande City for use of facilities Veterans Middle School gym for practice and games.
Good evening again, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Trigo, community members, Mr. Sines, of course, welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations. He is my old algebra teacher.
Oh, wow.
Not old.
And neighbor.
Algebra teacher, not old.
Okay, sorry about
Just say
that.
my algebra teacher.
That's sufficient.
Former algebra teacher.
There you go.
Okay. Yes, we did get a request from Mr. Dave Jones for the use of the gym for the Team Rio basketball for practice between March 26th and April the 25th. So we have spoken to the athletic director, and they had given us the go-ahead to go ahead and let them use our gyms. They are kids that participate in the program.
They do this every year?
Yes, sir.
I move we approve that item presented.
Do we have a second on item number 5?
Second that.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6, consider and take possible action on request from City of Rio Grande City for use of the old Ringo Elementary School for the 2015 special municipal elections.
The City of Rio Grande City has requested the use of the old Ringo Elementary for June. The dates will be from June the 10th through June the 23rd, which is a 10-day for early voting, and election day on June the 27th. So they usually ask permission, and they have in the past held their elections at that location.
And this is a request by the city. It's not that we're asking them to have the elections here. Is that correct?
No.
Well,
They
there's
have
always
had it in the past, and they did contact us, Ms. Javi Guerrero, for permission to use the premises.
For my purposes, I just want to ask, any expenses incurred by it are paid by the city?
The only expense would be the use of electricity, and at this point, we have not. Yes, it's a building that we're not using currently.
All right. Any more questions on item 6? Do I have a motion?
I
So-
move that we approve it.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Sines. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion is carried. Item 7, consider and take possible action on renewal of bond for safekeeping of government property, JROTC Rio Grande City High School and RGCCISD Gruya High School.
And this is something that we do need to carry for the U.S. Army. They do need to be assured that anything that the Army has purchased for them is taken care of under our umbrella of liability insurance. So this is something that we do for them on a yearly basis. They just want to be assured that all their assets are taken care of. We'd like approval.
Move to approve item 7.
Do we have a second on item 7?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 8, consider and take possible action on donations to RGCISD.
This month, we have one donation to John and Olive in Hinojosa Elementary by Walmart for $500, and we would like the approval of the board.
We have a motion on item 8.
I move.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Item 9, consider and take possible action on budget amendments for 2015-6.
Yes, sir, Mr. President, members of the board, this is the amendment that we went over in a public hearing. We will go ahead and amend for payroll with no additional amount increasing our efficiency of the fund balance. So we'd like approval.
Any discussion? Do we have a motion on item 9?
I so move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 10, consider and take possible action on renewal of financial advisory services with Estrada Hinojosa and Company Incorporated.
Mr. President, members of the board, we do have Dr. De Los Santos here that is helping us with the refunding of a bond issue. However, we do need a renewal of the agreement for financial advisory services, and he is here tonight. Dr. Dos Santos will go over the following items, a couple of items that we need to pass.
Thank you, Ms. Rose.
Mr. President, members of the board, Superintendent, Mr. Science, where have 36 years gone? I watched you walking into the building earlier. I said, who is that distinguished man?
Thank you.
Mr. President, with your permission, I'd like to visit with you a little bit about items 10 and 11 concurrently. And I believe Ms. Relas will pass out a little booklet that looks like this. It won't take me very long, but it tells you a little bit about who we are. We realize that the majority of you have not had interaction with us and may not know who Estrada Hinojosa is. So before you take action on the contract, we'd like to tell you a little bit about ourselves. And then after, if you don't like what we say about ourselves, then you don't have to renew our contract. So hopefully you'll like what I have to say. Estrada Hinojosa and Company is a company that was started in 1972 by Bob Estrada and Noe Hinojosa. Noe Hinojosa is the one on the right there in the left-hand picture, and Bob Estrada. It's the largest Hispanic-owned full-service investment bank in Texas and the second largest in the country. And in a little bit, I'll show you how we have grown. I'm the 7th employee. I was hired in 1996, and we have 42 employees now. And the numbers that I will show you in a minute show how the company has grown and done very well. If you'll notice on the second page, we have clients all over the country, actually in 28 states. We service a lot of school districts. On the right-hand side, you see at the very top the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. Mr. Hinojosa himself was a lead financial advisor for Jerry Jones in that particular endeavor. We've also been involved with the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. And I mentioned those big ones. We also have done bonds as small as $250,000 for a district like Santa Maria, close to Brownsville. So we service clients that are very, very large to very, very small clients. We consider ourselves a firm that is growing and very strong in public finance. If you look at page 3, you will see that the chart indicates how the number of deals that we did in 1992-93 Like I said, I joined the firm in '96 after having been a superintendent for 16 years and retiring from Edinburgh ISD in 1995. You can see how today we're doing so much business, and the blue on the map are the states where we have transacted financial transactions either as underwriters or as financial advisors. On page 4, we recently received the ratings for financial advisors. On the left-hand side, you'll see the national ratings. On the left-hand side, you see the state ratings. Hinojosa and Company is the second leading financial advisor in the state of Texas. And the only reason I always say that First Southwest leads us is because they're a much, much larger firm and they've been around for many more years than we have. On the right side, you see the national financial advisor rankings. We are ranked 4th. And what you have here is only the top 25. There are hundreds of financial advisory firms, of course, in Texas and across the nation. But we are very competitive and represent our clients well, and as a consequence, we are rated very high among financial advisors in the country and in the state. On page 5, you will see a little bit of our school district experience throughout the country, and we just picked a few. All the way from the small Brooks County, which is Falfurrias, you see Houston, Dallas, San Antonio, San Diego, Isleta, which is in the El Paso area, Arlington, Corpus Christi, Los Angeles, San Diego, the county of Miami-Dade, which is Miami in Florida, and so on. The little stamps that you see there are just the front pages of the POSs, the official statements that we do for each one of our clients, and they show you the amount of those bonds. The next page is experience in Region 1, and again, it's not all of the experience. In Region 1, there are 37 school districts. We have represented 35 of those 37. 20 as financial advisor, and the rest of them as underwriter. And I'll explain financial advisor and underwriter to you in just a second. Our most recent financings, in fact, today, we priced a $10 million bond refunding, like we're proposing to you tonight for Roma ISD. We priced $10 million. They were able to save $1.5 million on that transaction. You see Roma there at the very bottom. At the bottom of them, we also represent the Edinburgh schools. We represent Sherryland. We just did a refunding for Sherryland that priced last Thursday. And that particular financing was for $36 million, and we were the financial advisor. And then at the very bottom is an $89 million deal that we just did, transaction that we just did for San Juan Alamo as underwriters, not as financial advisors. And I'll explain underwriters in a second. We have the next 3 or 4 pages are the actual refunding, what we're proposing to you. If you do, whether you hire us or hire anybody else to do this transaction for you, the next 3 or 4 pages are the opportunity that you have right now. If you look at page 7, you have bonds that this school district sold or borrowed money in 2005. The balance of those bonds right now is $15,880,000. And you have an opportunity to refund the bonds. Refund means kind of like people refinancing their houses because the interest rates are lower. And as a result of the refinancing, you end up saving a considerable amount of money. You'll notice in the darkened space there where it says net PV savings, that means present value before inflation. The district, if you were doing the bonds on April the 15th, would have saved $2,444,000 or 15%. That means that you don't do the transaction, you keep paying on it the way you're paying on it right now, and don't do it. In the next 11 years, you will have paid 15% or $2.4 million more than you needed to have paid. The annual savings is $249,000. The average coupon of refunded bonds, that's what your bonds are costing you right now. 4.983% is the average percent that you're paying on your bonds. The true interest cost, right under that, 2.1, that is what your new bonds would cost you. If you take out these old bonds and you bring in new bonds at 2.16, that is why you would be saving that $2.4 million. Now, I need to be fair to you and to the state. When I say you save $2.4 million, the district saves 35% of that, and the state saves 65% of that, because the state pays right now through the programs that we have in the state helping poor school districts finance facilities. The state pays this school district about 65%, or pays 65% of the bonds, of the payments that you make. But even at 65%, you're looking at approximately $161,000. You're looking at, you're looking at 87, where we have $249,000 a year. You're looking at about $86,000 savings for the district a year. The next page shows you what your interest rates are by amortization year. You'll notice that in the year 8, if you go across, it says 8/15/2017, 5%. That's what your interest rate is on that particular payment that you're going to make on 8/15/17. If you refund this, if you do this transaction, your new bonds will cost you 0.81% for that particular year, which is less than 1%. And on down the line, and you notice that the interest rates grow as you move on all the way to the bottom at 2.49. And the reason that it costs a little bit more money in the long run is because of the unpredictability of the market 10 years from now. So people that lend you money will lend you money at a little bit higher interest rate. So the average true interest cost for the second column is 4.983. If you do this transaction, you would be taking that out and replacing it with 2.160, which would be the average of the next to the last column. So your interest rate goes down, your payment goes down, which is the next page. And in the next page, you're actually looking at dollars instead of interest rates. The second column after the FYE or the year is the savings, rather the prior debt. This is what it's going to cost you. Year by year, you will write or wire $1.9 million to pay for these bonds that you have outstanding. If you do the transaction, the new refunding debt service, which is the third column, would be, in the case of 2016, 1.662. And then the fourth shaded column would be your savings. For that year, the taxpayers would save $248,000. And on down the line across. And then when you get to the very bottom, in the shaded column, you will see that the savings on actual payments are $2.7 million.
Can I ask you a
by
question?
Doing this transaction. Yes.
On that savings that you have there, is that only for the district, or with the district and the state?
District and state. 65% of this is for the state, 35% is yours. So from the total savings, the state would save 1.78, and the district would save 960,000 over the life of the bonds. Now, I don't want you to be confused, because a while ago, Ms. Relas was making showing us how we need to save money and build up the fund balance. This particular savings is on the INS side of the tax rate. You have two sides of the tax rate. One is M&O for maintenance and operations. The other is INS only to pay debt. So you can't take this savings that I'm talking about, $87,000 a year, and say, well, we're going to put it in to help balance or increase the fund balance. What this does is savings that you can accumulate over the years and eventually, lower the tax rate or make a bigger payment on your bonds that you owe, that you have outstanding. So you can only use this savings to pay debt that you have incurred through bonds. So just to clarify that, because sometimes we're going to save $87,000, and you try to figure out what you're going to do with that. The next page, you cannot do a bond. You cannot do a bond transaction of this nature without a certain team of players. One is your financial advisor, which we hope to be and have been for you for a long time. One is your bond counsel, and that is the bond counsel is the attorney that represents the school district and prepared the order, the official order authorizing the board, or the board authorizes for this transaction to take place in legalese. The third is underwriters. The underwriters are a group, a conglomerate of people who are actually going to lend you the money. We're going to draft all the paperwork. These guys, when we get to the point, they're the ones that are going to put the money on the table to pay off the old bonds and bring in the new bond holders at a lower interest rate. Underwriters Council represents the underwriters. The underwriters hire the Underwriters Council because he represents them. And then the paying escrow agent, we recommend Wells Fargo National Bank of Houston. There's only 2 or 3 banks that do this anymore. What these guys do is, when the district and the state send in their payment, they send it into this bank, and this bank makes sure that everybody that invested in you gets paid on a yearly basis. And then the fourth one that we don't have here is the Attorney General. No bond transaction in the state of Texas in school districts gets done before the Attorney General's office, looks at every T and every I and approves it. And only after the Attorney General approves it will the financing take place. So that, in a nutshell, is the last page is a summary, or rather a timetable or a calendar, showing that today I'm presenting to you the plan of finance, and then on down, and you look at a lot of action takes place between now and what we would call the pricing of the bonds, which would be May 26. We look at a timeline of about 6 weeks, and actually sometime in July, this transaction would become a reality where the old bondholders are paid, and now you have a debt with new bondholders at a lower interest rate. So I know this is pretty fast, but that's the way that these financings work. I had met with Dr. Cantu as a facilities in the facilities committee, and Mr. Garcia, your board president, earlier, superintendent, Ms. Relas, discussed this with them earlier, and I had said to them, as I say to you tonight, we hope to do the transaction for you. We don't have to. You can hire anyone as financial advisor, but you have to do it.
Do you have a motion, item 10?
I just wanted to ask, Doc, you reviewed this,
Yes,
correct,
I
through
did.
the finance committee, and
I did.
you're strong, you're good?
Yes.
Okay, then.
And of course, just to be clear, there's no cost to the school. We don't pay them.
Right.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes.
Yes, the savings are after all expenses. Nothing comes out of the school district.
Excellent, we like the sound
After all
of
expenses.
that.
Yes.
Do we have a motion, item 10?
I move.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion is carried. Item 11, consider and take possible action on approval for a plan for finance for Series 2015 refunding. Do I have a motion? Item 11. Okay.
Under the same
That
umbrella,
would be
correct?
the numbers that I presented to you.
Okay.
Do you have a motion?
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Sines. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 12, consider and take possible action on approval of an order authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of Rio Grande City Consolidated Independent School District Unlimited Tax Refunding Bonds, Series 2015, delegating certain authorities to the President of the Board of Trustees of the School Board and Superintendent of Schools pursuant to the provision of Texas Government Code Section 1207.007 and 1207.008, levying a continuing direct annual ad valorem tax, authorizing the refunding of certain outstanding bonds, authorizing the execution of a bond purchase contract, approving the official statement execution of an escrow and trust agreement, and making other provisions regarding such bonds and matters incident thereto. Do I have a motion, item 12?
And again, this falls under the same presentation, correct?
Yes.
Yes, let me just say what it means. We didn't prepare it. This is attorney stuff. You can tell it's not financial stuff. But what it says is that we're going to look at the market for you over the next couple of months. And when the market we feel is really good, we will sell the bonds. And instead of the board having to call the special meetings to come and meet and approve the bonds and so on and so forth, you're actually authorizing the board president and the superintendent, and we call them, and like we called Roma today, and we'll say, hey, we have a deal. I mean, the savings are more or less what we had predicted, and they give us a verbal, and it's a done deal. And then the only thing that we'll do is I'll come back at a meeting after that to report to you what actually happened in the market with your bonds.
We have a motion, item 12.
I move.
We have a second.
I second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 13, consider and take possible action on approval of underwriters for Series 2015 refunding bonds.
And again, this is all under the same.
Same,
Correct?
yes.
Do we have a motion on item 13?
I move.
Do we have a second?
I second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you,
very
Mr.
much.
De Los Santos.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Item 14, consider and take possible action on tax refund for the month of March 2015.
Tax refunds for the month of March were a total of $1,565.11. And they are listed there for your review.
Any discussion? Do we have a motion on item 14?
I move that we approve.
Do we have a second? We have a second by Mr. Klein. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 15, consider and take possible action on requisition 5,000 and over in a 12-month aggregate.
We have a list of all the items, requisitions that are over 5,000 for the approval of the board. All the items on there have proper funding. You can review, and if you have any questions, we also have an addendum with 2 items that we would like to add to the list.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Any discussion on item 15? Do I have a motion on item 15?
I move that we approve the item as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Klein. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 16, consider and take possible action on awarding of the following bids. RFQ 15-17, forensic audit. RFP 15-19, basic local telephone service, long-distance telephone service, district-wide. RFP 15-21, internal connections, 8 campuses.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. Trigo, and ladies and gentlemen. On page 115 of your agenda, we do have request for qualifications for the forensic audit services. We did open these qualifications on February 10th at 10 a.m. We met with business office committee and then district committee, and our ranking, our first step for this for these services was to rank companies, and you see on page 115 the list of the companies or firms that submitted qualifications with their ranking score from top to bottom, and our recommendation is to approve this ranking so we can start negotiation for any type of price. Now what we need to do is the board and Mr. Trigo needs to come up with a scope of work to be done first, so then we can go to the to this firm to get what their rates are.
Mr. Smedley, I believe in the committee meeting, I know that we have the ranking, but if we preferred Baker and Tilly over Weaver, is there any way we can correct that? Or?
Yeah, well, we could also, if you want to have interviews on them, but yeah.
And that'll be in the committee meetings, or?
Yeah, I mean, that could be done. Okay. These are the rankings after we had that last meeting.
Okay.
So for now, they just
that's up to the board.
But to get the process going quicker, right now they need the scope, or
yeah. Yes, I think the board and Mr. Trigo needs to come up with a scope of work so we could present to them, or you could present to them.
So we can do that.
And
yes, sir.
At that point, then that's when they give us a price? Or?
Yes. Yes. And what we've seen on some of their examples, different phases. First, you give them a scope of work, and they'll tell you, okay, initial phase is going to cost you so much, and then if you go into delve into more matters, or they'll give you an hourly rate. Maybe together with council, maybe we could develop some matters, or not matters, but what the scope of work should be.
I believe in personnel committee we had set
Yes.
up
Yes.
the top three. We're going to talk to them first, correct?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Any further questions? Do we have a motion on item 16?
I so move.
A second?
I'll second with regards to the forensic audit. That's all we've discussed so far, right?
Yes, just to approve the ranking.
Okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Item 16 on forensic audit.
Okay, thank you, sir.
That was all.
Mr. Board President, members of the board, Mr. Trio, ladies and gentlemen, RFP 5019 is E-rate funding. We did receive several companies' proposals, and we evaluated them and reviewed them, presented them to the Technology Board Committee committee. We are recommending Time Warner for basic phone services, Time Warner for long-distance services. The Federal Communications Commissions pay 75% of that cost. We actually have a bill of $123,420 approximately. Our district share would be $37,026. We do get a reimbursement for that. Long distance is $6,500. Our district share is $1,950. For your information, Internet service and Internet access is a 3-year contract that was approved last year. This will be our second year. The Federal Communications Commission pays 90% of that bill. For Internet service, it's a total of $55,200. For Internet access, it's $124,700. Our district share is $5,520 for Internet service. For Internet access, it's $12,470. And then we have a non-E-rate cost of bandwidth utilization for data, and that's $9,000. So our district commitment is $65,916. The committee and the district recommend that we award the bid to Time Warner for basic and long-distance services.
Doing both?
That committee?
I move, yes.
Do we have a motion on item 16, RFP-15-19?
I move to approve that.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion, same
Thank
sign,
you.
motion carries.
E-rate bid 1521 was for internal connections upgrades to 8 campuses. The committee reviewed and we evaluated the bids that came in. At this time, the committee decided that we would postpone, that we would go out for bids in the near future. It is not a requirement, it's not a dear need for it, so we're going to go ahead and postpone. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Smedley and Ms. Garza. Item 17, consider and take possible action on interlocal agreement between RGCCISD and Stark County Juvenile Justice Program for program meals.
The County Juvenile Justice Program requests meals for juveniles housed at the local county jail. For program purposes, the center would be considered a residential child care institute, and children housed there will be eligible for meals at no charge regardless of socioeconomic status. The child nutrition program will be able to claim all meals served for program reimbursement. Children in the center will be able to participate in the school lunch program and breakfast program and receive meals that provide the proper nutrition they need. They have asked us, and we are able to do it under our current program, and we'd like to proceed with that.
And these juveniles are students of ours?
Yes, sir.
And then students, what age are we talking about?
I
Under the age
imagine
of
they're
17.
school age.
You have to be
Yes.
over the age of 10 and under the age of 17, as a former juvenile prosecutor.
Yeah, there are school age kids.
Right, over the age of 10, under 17.
And we approve that item as presented.
Do we have a second?
I second that.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Rose. Item 18, consider and take possible action on 2014-2015 employee resignation exit incentive.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of the board, superintendent. On item 18, this was presented to our personnel committee on April 8th. Also, we had a public hearing earlier today. Just to reiterate the components of this program, and also for the clarification of the minutes, we have employee resignation exit incentive, and we will be naming it early notification resignation incentive plan. That's been cleared through legal, so we'll continue with that if approved. The components, obviously, we're looking at 15 years experience, 5 years consecutive with the district, 30% of base salary. Anyone who takes this plan, if at the end of the plan it does get approved and the district sees it viable for the district, at that point, these individuals may not return to the district for 5 years. Also, the two main components that you'll have, if approved tonight, employees will begin to start picking up incentive package. We're mailing out the letter tomorrow, if approved, and we'll start getting employees in. Two major components that you'll see, and I had it earlier in your pass-outs. You'll have an early enrollment notice, which explains everything, and obviously number 10, which we included with legal, that the district has, the right at the end to choose whether it's not viable for the district financially. Also, the other major component is a release agreement. That's 2-3 pages of legal rhetoric that our legal staff has approved. So staff recommends approval that we begin with this enrollment period.
Can I ask a question on that, for my clarification? This will not be eligible for employment with district for at least 5 years. Can they work as substitutes?
No, sir.
No, that's part of employment.
Yes, sir. We had, district had, I believe, in 2010, had an ENRI incentive also. Those individuals will be eligible in April of 2016, May. Obviously, we'd have to look at legal with paperwork that was signed back then. Yes, sir.
Dr. Salinas, this only because I get this question a lot. It's 30% across the board, regardless of position.
Yes, sir. 30% across the board. Yes, sir. That's correct.
Thank you.
For base salary.
Any further discussion? Do we have a motion on item 18?
I so move that we approve the item as presented and as discussed in the committee with Eddie, Danny, and myself.
Do we have a motion, second?
I second.
We have a second by Mr. Sines. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item number 19, consider and take possible action on 2015 summer calendar.
Yes, sir. On this item, we respectfully ask that the district goes into our summer calendar. This was presented to also the Personnel Committee on April 8th. One of the initiatives here is we go through a 4-day week, looking at probably the hottest months of the year. That Friday, we're looking at savings as far as operations of facilities. So that's one of the major components. Also, we look at a 1-hour wellness at the end of each period. We do have the 35 hours for paraprofessionals, 37.5 for admins, and 40 hours for auxiliary. The district has had this initiative in the past, and we respectfully ask for your approval.
Do we have a motion on item 19?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 20, consider and take possible action on 2015-2016 school calendar.
Thank you, sir. On this item, we respectfully ask for approval for option 1. This calendar was sent out to our teachers and professionals. We did receive over close to 900, I guess we can call them ballot calendars. We got those back, and by a margin of 2-1, option 1 was chosen. So we respectfully ask for your approval. Just to reiterate a little bit, this is a 1 additional staff development day, 2 additional TEP days as we speak. We're working collaboratively as a team to work on those TEP guidelines, time equivalency program. The principal's been giving a handout. We're anxiously waiting for their feedback on that, and hopefully we can wrap this up by the end of the month.
I have a question on that. This year, for personal reasons, I didn't like the fact that those school and work day on it's a work day on Good Friday. I'm wondering, does this one include that also?
Option one, no. It's on your pass out. It has option one does have Good Friday off. Reason being, sir, I know this year we did have Monday off after Easter. If you look at, we also changed our little outlay on the calendar, if you will, and you look at that Monday when we come back. That following Tuesday, we're testing. We're going full throttle. So that's the reason that we included Good Friday off on option one.
I'm glad.
And if I'm not mistaken, sir, that is March 25th, and it should be a little circle with a triangle.
Any more discussion? Do we have a motion on item 20? Do
Move we approve item 20 as presented.
we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Klein. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 21, consider and take possible action on request for permission having May 8th, 2015 as Special Education Fund Day.
Good evening, members of the board, Board President, Mr. Garcia, Superintendent, Mr. Joel Trigo, all colleagues, and everyone that's present. RGCCISD Special Ed Department asked for we are seeking approval for the Fund Day, which is scheduled for May 8th. It'll be at the Fort Ringgold Pavilion grounds, and it's sponsored by Dr. B. It's where all the unit children come together and we have activities for them. We also coordinate with all of the different departments.
Sounds great.
Discussion. Do we have a motion, item 21? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Mr. Ramirez. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same side. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Masan.
Thank you.
Reports and information.
Thank you, Mr. President. On reports, item number 1, an initiative we have through our wellness program. And I know on your pass out it says May 1st, so I'd like to apologize for that. It's Tuesday, May 5th. We have a initiative on a wellness fair that we're looking at for our employees. This will be held May 5th from 4 to 7 p.m. Just wanted to report to the board tonight before we send out invitations. We have people from Starr County Memorial Hospital, SCAN, Starr County Health Studies, Transformation Gym, Texas Oncology. There's several people that have signed up. We want to bring these individuals in and just have some information and some preventive care for our employees.
Thank you, Dr. Salinas. We now, is that it on the report? Oh, okay.
Yes, on item 2, we have Texas Mobile Imaging. This is also a good initiative for our wellness program for our employees. I will stop here because we do have Christian Bertoni here tonight, and I appreciate him being here. He's got great information to share with you, so if you please allow me to bring Christian Bertoni to give us a little bit about Texas Mobile Imaging.
Good evening, board members, Mr. Trejo. My name is Christian. I'm with Texas Mobile Imaging, and I'm going to talk briefly about exactly what the type of screenings that we're actually going to be doing. The week of May 18th, we're actually going to be coming out to offer these screenings to the school district. The first screening that we're going to do, typically what we do is we're a mobile vascular ultrasound screening company. What that means is that we're going to be doing ultrasound screenings that are all done by ultrasound, so they're going to be painless and non-invasive. The first test that we do is on the carotid arteries, which are located on both sides of the neck, and they go up to the brain. What we're looking for are fatty plaque buildup or cholesterol deposits, which are usually the #1 cause for stroke. Now, stroke is the 4th leading cause of death behind heart disease, vascular disease, and cancer. It is the 2nd leading cause of death in women, and it is the #1 reason for nursing home admissions in this country. The next test we're going to do is we're going to be doing the abdominal aorta. Now, that is your main artery that runs off of your heart and it splits down to your legs. What we're looking for are aneurysms that can form on your aorta. And you could have a softball-sized aneurysm sitting on your aorta and not realize it until it actually ruptures. Once it does, you will bleed out in about 1 to 5 minutes. This is considered a silent killer. The next test we're going to be doing is going to be on the arteries in your arms and your legs, and what we're looking for is what's called PAD. Now, that is peripheral arterial disease, and that is the hardening or narrowing of the arteries. If you've got blockage in the arteries of your legs, there's a really good chance you're going to have blockage in the heart as well. This is the #1 reason for leg amputations in this country. We're also going to be doing screenings while we're doing the carotid artery, we're going to give you a complimentary screening of your thyroid. Your thyroid controls your metabolism. We look for cysts, tumors, other abnormalities. While we're screening your abdominal aorta, we're going to get a complementary screening of your liver, gallbladder, and your kidneys. And again, we're looking for cystic type masses, tumors, other abnormalities, any type of kidney stones, gallstones, or fluid buildup. Typically, doctors will not order these type of screenings unless you are already symptomatic, and the reason for that is it's simply too expensive. They generally run anywhere between $500 to about $1,000 each in a hospital. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Price.
Price. The screenings are going to be $125 for all 7 tests. Once the tests are done, we're going to send everything to our board-certified radiologist to review. We send everything back to the patient about 3 to 4 weeks, and then they can either hang on to that for their medical records, or if they need to, they can take that to their primary physician.
And I know you've done other schools in the Valley, right? Is that correct?
We did Rio Hondo ISD recently. We did Mercedes ISD in March, and we did Raymondville ISD. We are currently going to be doing Lyford, your school, and we'll also be doing Roma ISD at the end of May as well.
This is no cost to us, right? People can voluntarily
Absolutely
come
no
in.
cost to the school district. This is going to be up to the individual. If they decide they want to do it, that's great. The week of the 27th, we're going to come out and we're going to talk to all the campuses, let them know who we are, what we're doing, if they have any questions, or if they choose to pre-register for the screenings, they may do so.
I've been asked if they can bring spouses.
Absolutely. Family members and spouses will be welcome to participate in the screenings. The price is going to be absolutely the same. We will be at the schools, for example, the 18th and 19th, we're going to be at early college. So anybody that's in that area can go to the early college and get the screening done. It'll be by appointment. It'll take about 45 minutes to about an hour. We'll be there from early in the morning till as late in the evening as we're allowed to stay. And we're going to be there all week, and it looks like right now we may open up a second week as well.
Are you going to be in all campuses or a central location?
We're going to have to do, the way your district is set up, we're going to be at early college for 2 days, and again, depending on scheduling. We're going to be at Gruya High School 2 days, and we're going to be at Central Admin the 22nd, which is a Friday. And again, the week before, we're going to have to do Rio Hondo High School. Not Rio Hondo, I'm sorry. Rio Grande City High School, we're going to have to do them as well. Because we've got 2 schools there that are too far out for them to come drive this way.
And Mr. Drew, I think as the day gets closer, maybe a little reminder, because it's a little far off, to remind them of the date. So I think it's a good initiative. I know those other schools, when they do this, they find significant findings or something serious all the time. So I think it's something good that we should all get checked if we can.
Absolutely.
We had a company from some program from Houston come down to our church about 3 months ago in La Gruya, and they did that for $120 per person, and they had about 7 different tests that we went through, and we had a full house. A lot of people showed up.
Yeah. So we're hoping that right now we've got a really great response. I've been talking to the principals, setting up all of the speakings, and so we've got really so far we've got a great response. So I'm thinking we're probably going to need more than just a week to do the screenings for everybody. So, but we're looking forward to hopefully, if we catch something early enough, to help somebody.
Yes.
Any other questions?
I know you came from Houston, so thank you for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Anything else on reports? Before we go into closed session, I believe there is food for everyone to help themselves. We're now in closed. It is 8:10. We're in closed session under the authority of the Texas Government Code, Section 551.071.
Back there is the superintendent's office, in the boardroom, superintendent's boardroom.
Did you sign it? There's 2 signed.
Normally do with these.
I already have a library of stuff.
You file them?
Están los teclas y-
Tenías que gritar a mí.
Dr. Benavides from La Guaya. How did it go?
17.
16.
No, 9:17.
It is now 9:16. We are reconvening in open session. Do we have any and do I have a motion on item A?
Move to approve item A, discuss with closed session.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Do I have a motion on item B?
Move to approve item B, discuss with closed session.
Do we have a second? We have a second by Ms. Solis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
And before we adjourn, as a school board, we wanted to express our sincere condolences to our attorney, Mr. Juan Guerra, who lost his father not too long ago. I lost mine not too long ago, so it hits home. And the fact that you're still working hard for us and still being here, I just wanted to say a little something because it happened not too long ago for me, and it hit home. So our condolences.
Thank you very much. That means a lot. Thank you.
The meeting is now adjourned.